Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Thanks again for your ongoing support as it relates to my channel. I'm growing, and my aim is really to develop content, to really express my thoughts so others can learn. And I'm going to be focusing on technology, history, and so forth, topics that interest me. And I hope these topics interest you too. Now, this week, I really want to talk a little about virtual reality, augmented reality, the metaverse. So many things have been changing for the last few months. We've seen the high and the low, and I think we are in a low point where many individuals are asking, what about the metaverse? The promise of the metaverse is somewhat off at this point in time. I just don't know why. It seems as if there has been a promise and the reality has not been forthcoming. The issue is, was there an overpromise as it relates to what could have been achieved? Why are not more people going after the metaverse? There are so many competing factors that you could think regarding technology, but is the metaverse really something that will have a legacy in the future? I am at the borderline right now because I'm looking at the technology and I'm realizing that it's not going to be there yet. The projection I had for the last 5 years, I pull it back somewhat based on what's happening with Meta and other things. I think that the richness that I wanted in these environments are not there yet. I say to my colleagues, I do not want to know the back end of the technology, because knowing the back end, we'll see, all right, that process has to go through that process before it arrives at that process. But I look at things differently. I want to see something that is crystal clear, something with a 360, immersive, realistic sort of environment. I do not want to know how much work it takes at this point in time, because if I do, I'll restrict my thoughts to what the technology is now. So I'm always thinking about the future. And what got me thinking even more was the issue of ethics as it relates to virtual reality, augmented reality, and the metaverse. Shockingly, for me, it is sad when I read about a situation where someone who was the developer of the Oculus has created a headset that is actually able to kill. Yes, kill. I saw the headlines and I could not believe it. So I went through several headlines to realize that, yes, a headset was developed that could actually kill the user after the user dies in a game or so. And I'm saying, really? But why would you create such a headset? The news articles go on to suggest that after playing the game and the sign says game over, there will be some electrical charges that are released into the brain that could create problems and lead to your death. Who would think about creating that? I put some links in the description section of my video. So please access these links to see what actually I'm talking about. How could someone sit down and design a product like this? This has great implications. Why? Let's think about this for a moment. Someone accessed that technology that was developed by this individual. He or she loads the hardware into the headset, and they have roughly 20 headsets. They go to do a training development program in a high-tech industry or maybe a government place. They allow individuals to have a wonderful game, and at the end, they say, all right, you know what? Game over, so is your life. So why would someone develop a product like this? I think we can be more creative. Hence, I'm pulling back a bit at VR until we have addressed the ethical issues. The reality is that educational institutions and individuals using these products will need to really examine what they're getting themselves in. The issue for me is, I think there is much more independent research that needs to be done. What are these companies not telling us? How are they tracking our data? These are critical questions that must be answered. And I don't think they're answering these questions. So at this point in time, I would say to you, get on board. Start articulating for ethical practices as it relates to development and deployment of VR resources. We cannot allow the developers to be creating products that practically could kill us. And that's the reality. That's all for now. And thanks for joining me. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more critical thoughts